Hello and welcome to the Passion Show. My name is Kyle, and joining me as always is my co-host Phil.
Hello.
And we also have a returning guest, Samir.
Thank you very much for having me. Thank you so much.
In today's episode, we're talking about Kung Fu Panda, the Kung Fu Panda trilogy. So I love these films.
I'm so excited we're talking about this.
It's a really niche topic, but it's just like easy, isn't it?
Mm.
And it's like, I want people to watch these films, and I talk about them a lot, like in work and stuff like that. And I'm like, oh, Kung Fu Panda is sick.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, you like Kung Fu Panda? And I'm like, no, I'm not taking the piss.
Yeah, no, I'm not joking.
It's sick.
Yeah.
That's going to be the topic for this week.
Yeah, that's it. It's like, I think I'm in the exact same boat, is that I find myself talking about Kung Fu Panda a lot. I feel like it's one of my favourite animated series ever. And I feel like it's kind of the same, it's always the same thing, isn't it? Like you say, you're like, oh yeah, man, guys, Kung Fu Panda is great. And yeah, it's the same thing. Everyone's always kind of like, oh yeah, it's good, man, it's good. And you're like, no.
You don't understand.
You don't get it. You don't understand. You know how good this film is.
Yeah, so I'm one of those people, I don't get it. Like, I think they're brilliant films, but like, I'm not at this level. Get me to this level.
Okay, so it's the ultimate underdog story, isn't it?
So Poe is he's a big fat panda and he dreams of being a martial artist. He wants to be part of
That's how you explain a film.
He wants to be part of the Furious Five, right?
Yeah,
he wants to be part of this elite martial arts group.
But he's a big panda, and he makes noodles with his duck dad.
Yeah, with his goose/duck dad. Yeah.
He's my favourite character.
I mean, that's just great. I mean, straight away off the bat, you kind of like, well, what's going on here? You've got this weird noodle-making goose.
And you're already rooting for him.
Yeah.
Because, like, he's just this underdog, and he has these ambitions, but he kind of knows he'll never get it. But then, when they're choosing the Dragon Warrior...
Master Uruguay, who gets Thanos.
Yeah, spoiler.
Oh, whoa.
Too soon.
Yeah, man.
Master Uruguay. Yeah, so Poe stumbles into the ceremony, and he's chosen as the Dragon Warrior. And obviously, he can't be the Dragon Warrior, but it's all about how you teach people and how you need to tailor your teachings to each person, because everyone's different and anyone can be like special and stuff like that. And it's so inspiring, almost, this like journey that he goes on.
It is.
And it's one that develops over multiple films, because it's not like the sequels just rehash it. They're all interesting. And I think one of the most interesting things about it is the villains. Because you have, in the first one, Ian McShane playing Tai Lung.
Tai Lung.
It's genuinely some of the best voice acting I've ever heard.
Oh my goodness.
Is this tiger that used to be a student of like Master Shifu, who's like the head of the Furious Five. But he because he isn't chosen as the Dragon Warrior, he kind of rebels and he's been put in prison. And just this one scene where he breaks out of prison, it's insane. And it's beautiful. Man. Like, even though it is just an American DreamWorks film, the animation's stunning in parts.
I think it's as good as any martial arts sequence in any film. I think it's as good as anything, because you kind of, like I said, there's a genuine kind of understanding and love of old kung fu films and old martial arts films and that kind of stuff. But it's done in, like you said, by DreamWorks, where they can have one tiger versus like 200 rhinos in armor and stuff. And
it like sits on a line in between ridiculousness and like creativeness, doesn't it? Because if you're trying to be too creative with like action and stuff, you can get really bizarre concepts. But it knows when to sort of hold back and when to be, outlandish and crazy and stuff.
For sure, yeah, and I think obviously you mentioned the Ian McShane's voice work. I think the voice work across the board is just great. Like the Furious Five, they've got some big names in there.
Jackie Chan, Seth Rogen,
Jackie Chan, Angelina Jolie. Yeah, and then you've got David Cross. He's like
Crane, Mantis.
He's the. I think is he the Crane?
He's Crane.
Yeah, he's a Crane. Yeah. Who is the Mantis? I forget. Is it Lucy Liu?
Oh yeah. No. Lucy Liu's the snake.
Yeah, Lucy Liu's the little snake. Yeah, that's it.
But yeah, great voice cast.
Are you aware that there's a cartoon series?
Right, I'm nervous to watch it though.
What, they have
It's called Legends of Awesomeness. I remember watching it on Nickelodeon growing up, like when I was about 8 or 9.
Oh really?
Yeah.
I think there's space for a Kung Fu Panda TV series for sure. I genuinely do. Like, obviously, I'll have to check that out.
I think it's got like a good few series on it as well.
Yeah.
I think what's enjoyable about the films though as well is it's one concise trilogy.
Yeah.
And each film has its own story to tell. And
no moral as well. Yeah.
You all feel like they're important, like they're not just being forced. They're all great, and the action is like continuously like beautiful throughout.
Yeah, and you get just kind of complete it on top as well. The music in all of them is just beautiful.
Yeah.
It's so perfect for what it needs to be. It's like this crouching tiger, hidden dragon type music, and it's like, you know, it's perfect for what it is. And a lot of the time, I noticed this in the second one. There's that fight they kind of have at the little village, and the music is perfectly cut to each punch and each hit.
Oh.
So it's like it's beautiful to watch. And obviously, this is when Poe's part of the Furious Five, and they're all synced up, so they've all got the tag team moves and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, man, I think it's a perfect example of just how like precise they are about certain things like that. You know,
I think like what we were saying before about people not really getting how good it is. I think if you just watch it again, just the first one, and you sort of watch at it from the perspective that you know it's going to be great, and you just like you'll enjoy it more. Because I was watching a YouTube video and some guy was talking about how he uses Kung Fu Panda and to like teach and stuff like that about like motivation and self-belief. And as I was watching the film, I was like, this really works.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
it really works.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to spoil anything, but like stuff that happens in the film,
yeah,
it really ties into that.
Like, for motivational speakers.
Yeah, stuff
well,
like
I guess the cool thing is, like, again, without kind of spoiling too much what happens, you look at the Master Shifu character who plays the teacher, but he's also kind of sort of an apprentice at the same time.
Yeah.
The amount his character just goes through, like his arc throughout the whole film, is crazy.
So much
and
well.
he's like a third, maybe fourth character in the film. Do you know what I mean? Like, he's not really the main character. So the fact that he's like, you know, 3-4 characters deep into the billing,
even like
still...
Tigress.
Yeah, exactly.
Each of the Furious Five has their own their own personality, and they all have different like approaches to Poe when he first joins.
Exactly,
Like they all like know he's not going to be a good fighter.
Yeah.
Like they all think that anyway. But like some of them kind of like him.
Yeah.
And he starts winning them round as friends, even though he's still not like a good fighter.
He's a big fan of them as well.
Yeah, he's a huge fan.
He's got like posters of them in his room and
toys.
stuff. Right? Yeah.
It's all about like not meeting your idols, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because it never lives up to it. But it's about perseverance and stuff like that.
Sure.
I remember, like as a kid, you know, he has like all the toys on the windowsill.
Yeah.
He had McDonald's toys, Kung Fu Panda. I got like all the Furious 5 and put them all on my windowsill.
Oh,
did you really have them all?
Yeah,
that's pretty impressive, man. But yeah, I mean, like you said, you go back to you know, each of the characters having their own arc. You even kind of understand where Tai Lung's coming from to an extent.
Oh yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
like his relationship with Shifu is the core of the film, isn't it, almost, and then Poe's kind of like the newcomer, isn't he?
Yeah, he's like the kind of spanner in the works, isn't he? I suppose.
Because you don't want Tai Lung to have to fight them. You want to win him round.
Yeah.
Because you care about him. You care about the villain. Because you see him when he's young and stuff like that, and how he became who he is.
Yeah, because he's like a little baby.
They show cute little Tai Lung at the beginning, and he's like, oh, he's his little sweetheart, yeah. And then it kind of shows how, like, you know, Master Shifu was kind of too harsh, and so it's like a learning experience for him as well. And going into the villains of the second one, you have Gary Oldman
playing a peacock,
who's just again, he's kind of like he's funny as well, like he kind of adds levity to it as well.
And it's all about like fireworks, isn't it?
Yeah.
And they're using fireworks as weapons.
Yeah, I
and
remember
stuff.
that.
And it looks
looks
gorgeous.
beautiful.
They have a fight on like boats and stuff at the end.
He starts catching them, and it's just the best.
And he makes the yin and yang.
Yeah.
Oh, it's great.
It's so good.
And they sow the seeds for the sequels.
Yeah.
When they do them, because Poe's dad is the goose duck, isn't he?
Yeah,
whatever he is.
Yeah.
I always thought he was a duck. Was he probably a goose, isn't he?
I don't. Yeah, probably. I guess so. Do you think he's a goose? Yeah.
But he's one of my favourite characters.
Yeah, he's
but
great.
Like, be like, obviously that's not his dad.
Yeah.
And they sort of hint at it and stuff like that. And when, and they lead that into the third one where he finds finds out about his real family and stuff like that.
They set that up at the end of the second one, right? They kind of have that last shot of kind of Poe's dad, and he's like, oh, my son's still alive.
Played by Bryan Cranston as
well.
Played
beautifully by Bryan Cranston.
It's great.
He's
got such a good cast.
It is. I mean, and then you look at kind of like the three kind of guys in the trilogy. You obviously have Ian McShane, Gary Oldman, and then Bryan Cranston. You've got some real, like, you know, weight. You've got some real big time actors in there that are kind of really just fleshing out these characters in a kind of unlike any other ways, I think, a lot of the time.
And they're all really different villains. Like, you go from a tiger in the first one, who's like about speed, but he's got like agility, and he's like hard hitting. The second one, you've got a peacock.
Yeah.
Like, and he throws like daggers and stuff like that, and he's dead nimble. And then the third one, you have an ox.
Yeah.
Who has like this fucking sword that like collects souls or something like that. It's mad. It's so creative and inventive, and it you can kind of feel the love for original Japanese like kung fu films.
Yeah, definitely, and I think that the other cool thing I guess
like
as well
Chinese
is
ones as well, definitely.
Well, definitely, it's kind of like this. I suppose it's like the mixture of that, and it's like Chinese mythology. It kind of plays into a lot of that as well, and it's kind of like, you know, you get like the animals that are all kind of in the film sort of represent their Chinese mythological kind of like, you know, when they explain their personality traits.
I think we've talked about it before with the I think it was with the Studio Ghibli films and also the Image comics. You can feel the love being put into it.
You really can.
It doesn't just feel like a generic sort of, you just cut and dry animated film.
Yeah.
It's not just like one of them. It's like it feels like there's a lot of love put into it.
Yeah, you can exactly. Like you can feel the fun. Like when creators have fun, you can definitely feel that. You can feel when they don't as well, which is like I think that's a lot of the time. But you can feel when animators are just genuinely really just enjoying it and just thinking like, what would we want to see from this film? And then
what
just
action do we want to see?
Yeah, what do we want to see? And then just doing exactly that. And then,
I might watch Kung Fu Panda 2 tonight,
Yeah, I'm going to see Kung Fu Panda 3 again tonight. I've watched 1 and 2 recently.
Oh, yeah.
I watched 2 literally like 4 or 5 days ago.
I watched the first one about a month ago.
I think you're right. I think the people that are kind of like, maybe like you, Carl, and kind of on the fence, I think all it needs is one good rewatch.
Yeah, definitely.
And then to keep in mind the things we've said and just kind of be like, well, this is actually more than just like a silly little film.
Yeah, when you look at it like a bit deeper and you realise like there's a lot of story going on and each character's fleshed out, you basically watch it and you realise every component works perfectly, like the animation, the story, the characters. Everything's great, like the voice acting, like we said before.
Yeah.
So I think in terms of like DreamWorks as well, like in the 2000s, they were so brilliant, like so consistent with like Shrek,
How to Train Your Dragon.
Hell yeah.
I could do this for How to Train Your Dragon.
We definitely could do
Madagascar.
that again.
I could do it for Madagascar.
Yeah.
Madagascar, hell yeah.
There's a lot of underrated sort of DreamWorks films out there because Disney can't take the limelight, don't they?
Yeah.
It feels kind of silly, like doing a whole podcast on Kung Fu Panda, but that's how like committed I am to the cause because like. It's just great, and I want more people to be aware of how good it is. I want it to be widely known that they're bringing great films.
Yeah, I think you're spot on. I think it's our job to spread the good word, the good word of our Lord and Savior Poe.
Kung Fu Panda Appreciation Society.
People need to know, man. People need to understand. We can't just. I think it's time we stop taking Kung Fu Panda for granted.
Okay, like I've just been indoctrinated into a cult.
Yeah, you have.
It is.
You have.
But yeah, I think we'll sort of wrap it up there. Nice little niche episodes talking about Kung Fu Panda. So yeah, if you have any passions yourself that you want us to talk about, feel free to leave them in the comments because we'd love to talk about it.
Or hit us up in the DMs if you want to come on the show yourself.
Yeah, if you want to come on the show, we'd be more than happy to have you. We're always looking for guests. But other than that, we'll see you next time.
Have a good day.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.